Hey everybody, we are back again to do a nice video about the veins. We already covered the histology of the veins, the tunics and such, so I kind of skipped over that to my picture of my heart model here. I want to start by doing my weird veins. Got 4 weird veins here. These weird veins, of course, are my pulmonary veins. Those are my pulmonary veins. They are, of course, veins because they're going to the heart. Veins go towards the heart, arteries go away from the heart. But they're weird because they are red. They are oxygenated. All right. We see some other lovely veins on this picture. We see our big superior and our big inferior vena cava, taking blood back to that lovely right atrium right there. So let us get away from the heart here and get a little bigger picture. And there we have it. We can talk about more veins. So here I have my inferior vena cava. Here I have my superior vena cava. And we've removed the heart here. We can see the back of the thoracic cavity. And what I can see here are a lot of posterior intercostal veins. So I can definitely see a lot of posterior intercostal veins. And my posterior intercostal veins are draining into a pair of veins. I see this nice guy right here. That nice guy right there is my azygos vein. And notice that the azygos vein, dun, 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 going up, gets into the superior vena cava right there. I also see a vessel on the other side, which has a similar name. There he is right there. And that guy over there is called the hemiazygos vein. Okay, that's the posterior thorax for us. Let's look at that superior vena cava a little bit. So there's that superior vena cava right there. We saw the azygos vein going into it. We also see the 2 branches of the superior vena cava. There's the left and there's the right. Those guys, each of those is a brachiocephalic vein. So note there is a right and a left brachiocephalic vein. That's different from the arteries. It was just the one artery. Okay. If I look at this brachiocephalic vein right here, it's my left brachiocephalic vein. Let's put an arrow on that guy. There's my left brachiocephalic vein. I do see 3 vessels that I have to know about. My 3 vessels. This big guy on the inside, that is my internal jugular vein. It's my internal jugular. There we go. And then the guy just lateral to him, smaller, is going to, of course, be my external jugular vein. And then the guy going straight out, relatively straight out, that guy right there, that is the subclavian vein. And of course, note that while I'm labeling these on the left, they are on the right as well. So we've got to know those guys. Jugular is draining the brain and the head. Subclavian draining the shoulder and the arm. Speaking of the arm, let's move onward. What I want you to notice, in this hand, in this forearm, in this arm, we have vessels that are like a dark blue and then vessels that are a lighter, more muted blue. The brighter colors are for superficial vessels. The kind of more faded colors are for deep vessels. So let's do some superficial vessels first. I do see a superficial palmar arch right there. And my superficial palmar arch, notice it is draining into 2 vessels. I've got this guy, which I see running basically all the way up the forearm and the arm right there. That guy, the medial vessel there, the one on the inside, so to speak, is my basilic vein. Now, laterally, right here, right here, all running the forearm and the arm. That guy is my cephalic vein. So those are my superficial drainers of my hand, my forearm, and my arm. I also want you to notice that there is a vessel connecting them. Getting a little crazy with the arrows here. The vessel connecting them is called the median cubital vein. That's the vein you stab when you're getting blood drawn at the doctor's office or something like that. Okay, so we got some superficial veins we've taken care of. Now let's do some deep veins. This deep guy on the thumb side right there, that is my radial vein. So we met the radial artery, now we're meeting the radial vein. Now opposite him, partner to him, this deep guy on the pinky side, that is my ulnar vein. Note that as these guys go up, radial, ulnar, they combine at the antecubital fossa, giving me a deep vein up in the arm here. Boom, 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 there it is. This deep vein in the arm is going to be my brachial vein. Now, if I look up here, I got cephalic right there. Then I got brachial right there. And then I got basilic right there. All of them are basically combining. And when they combine, all three are, it's not perfect, but all three are emptying together. And when they combine, we get the axillary. And the axillary then, of course, goes into the rib cage. And right here becomes the subclavian. Put as many arrows on it as possible. That's the subclavian right there. Fantastic. So, sweet. We did the arm. I think we're done with the entire upper body there. Let's see. Moment of truth. Yes. Oh, no, we're not. I got another picture here. I do see my internal jugular vein right there. See my external jugular vein. See them draining the head and the brain. Fantastic. Now we're downward. We're onward to the abdominal cavity. There's my inferior vena cava. All right, pause that right there. That is not the inferior vena cava. I'm thinking about the next thing I'm going to label, and then I said it. Well, I'm labeling something else. That, of course, is the what? You tell me. That is the diaphragm. And then this big, beautiful blue thing is the inferior vena cava. This is my inferior vena cava right here. That lovely abdominal vein. That is my inferior vena cava. Dun, dun, dun. And I see a lot of branches of it that I have to know. I see like a collection of branching vessels right here. That collection of branching vessels right there, boom, boom, those are my hepatic veins. They are going to drain the liver. Those are my hepatic veins right there. I am also going to see some suprarenal or adrenal veins. So I got some adrenal / suprarenal veins. Notice how the right one empties into the inferior vena cava, the left one into the renal vein. Interesting, right? All right, before it gets a little messy, let's get rid of all that. Put some new arrows in there. There is a renal vein right there, renal vein right there. So we got some renal veins. And let's also label our gonadal veins. So there is a right gonadal vein right there. There is a left gonadal vein right there. The gonadal veins, and of course if we know the sex of the individual, we can say testicular or we can say ovarian. But if we don't, we just say gonadal. And notice there is a little bit of inherent asymmetry here. The left one, check out how it goes up, 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 up into the renal vein. The right one goes right into the inferior vena cava. All right. What else can I see here? I can see my common iliac vein right there. Common iliac vein right there. Let's write that down. So I've got a common iliac vein. And I know that if I have the word common, I'm going to get a split. And I see my split right there. There's my external iliac vein, and there is my internal iliac vein. So let's label those guys. And similar to what we did with the arteries, we are going to label, well, not label, we're going to know the internal iliac vein is going to drain, pelvic stuff, urinary, reproductive organs, and the external is going to go down, or rather come up from the leg. All right, before we get into the leg, though, we still got some abdominal work to do. So let's go ahead and do that. Got some abdominal organs here. Check out the fact that we have a spleen right here. There's a spleen, okay? And draining the spleen, we have a splenic vein. So we got that splenic vein. Let's write that down. That's not how you spell splenic. You don't spell it S-O-K. There's my splenic vein right there. What else do I see? I also see a gastric vein coming from the stomach. So there is a gastric vein. I am also going to see some mesenteric veins. I've got a superior mesenteric and I've got an inferior mesenteric vein here. So inferior mesenteric, I'm just writing inferior mes because I'm allowed to abbreviate like that. You, of course, are not. And I got a superior mes over here. Now, what I really want you to see, the take-home message here. Let's switch colors just to highlight it, just to make it so important. Whoa, that was kind of cool. This guy right here, this guy is formed by the convergence of the gastric, the splenic, and my two mesenterics. This guy right here is formed by them, and this guy is known as the hepatic portal vein. The hepatic portal vein. The hepatic portal, I can't talk. The hepatic portal vein is taking blood into the liver from the stomach, from the spleen, from the intestines. Think about it. The intestines are, you're absorbing nutrients. Those nutrients got to go to the liver for processing. You might absorb toxins. Let's get rid of the might there. You're going to absorb toxins. They got to go to the liver for detoxification. The spleen breaks down red blood cells. You got to deal with the bilirubin, the iron. It's got to go to the liver. The stomach, you can absorb things like alcohol, drugs, poisons. They got to go to the liver. So we have this system of veins which feed into a big vein which goes to another organ, which is the liver. All right. Fantastic. Let's keep on going. And we're back again up top here with my lovely inferior vena cava. There we go. What color should I use? I'm thinking like a nice pink here. There's my inferior vena cava right there. I see my common iliac right there. There's an internal iliac right there and an external iliac right there. We did all that previously. And right here we get the femoral vein. We see the femoral vein stretching down till it dives beneath the knee. So that is the femoral vein. And let's write that down. Femoral. I also see a very superficial vein coming up the medial thigh, and it'll come up the medial leg as well. It is a super long vein. Because it is so long, it is called the great saphenous. Saphenous means superficial. Great because it is so lengthy. There's the great saphenous vein. And lastly, in this picture here, if I see behind the knee right there, I do see my popliteal vein. popliteal vein. There we go. Sweet. So we see all that. Let's now jump down a little bit farther, a little more distal down the leg. And just like with the arteries, I've got to be aware of my tibial veins. So I am going to see an anterior tibial vein right there. Let's actually see if I can put that arrow a little more like that. There's my anterior tibial vein. There's my fibular vein. There's my posterior tibial vein hanging out back there. And I also see my great saphenous vein running up the inside. We are going to see, I wonder if it's better in the next picture, the next slide. Let's see. Maybe. We do see those plantar arches right there. We got that posterior tibial vein snaking up right there. We got that fibular vein over there. Look at that lovely great saphenous vein. Let's just put an arrow on that great saphenous vein because that's my favorite vein of all time. And we nice to see our popliteal veins back here as well. All right, that was quick. I don't know if that was too quick. When I make these videos, sometimes I just go kind of fast. Just boom, boom, boom. But anyway, that's it for veins. See you later.